Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, several things we heard, adjectives and pejoratives, very incendiary, unfortunately. Gaslighting, MAGA extremists, or MAGA insurrectionist Republicans, big corporate profits at all cost, anti-black, fascist, etc. I can tell you what I am, personally. I'm anti-socialist, I'm anti-Marxist, I'm anti-communist, I'm pro-merit, pro-opportunity, pro-liberty, pro-American. And I'll never apologize for that, because the most important diversity we have is the diversity of thought. I don't care what you are, I care who you are. And it's about opportunity in this country. And yes, we have in our time fallen very short, obviously, in our history, but we're getting so much better. And the things that some of these folks that use these pejoratives, they're worried about are, fortunately, incredibly diminishing phenomena every single day. So what we're talking about here is using ESG. We don't want it to violate federal law. We don't want to put it before maximizing returns. And that's just not about profits. It's also about prospectus. That's written into the law. And we don't want to restrict investments. If you want to invest in mermaid freedom, knock yourself out. You want to invest in carbon-free cookie monsters, knock yourself out. You want to invest in a unicorn ranch, knock yourself out. It's just about putting and not disclosing to the investor the criteria that you're using that violates federal law. Are we a country that is a rule of law nation, or are we going to let rules become more powerful than the law? Because if we are, the 535 of us should just damn well resign right now, hire a bunch of federal bureaucrats, and let them run the government. That's what we're really talking about, in theory. Because even if there is a rule that is made that I agree with, I do not want it to trump law. Because then we're going to be in anarchy and chaos, and we're going to lose the greatness that we've had as a country. It's very important to recognize. So, and then one of my other colleagues said about we want to ban books. We're probably talking about banning books. I'm about banning books in elementary schools that have explicit pornographic material, and that's about it. I don't ever want to see Catcher in the Rye banned again. So, and then we talk about this country. Is it a great country or is it not? And are there opportunities out there? Well, you know, for people of color and women. Well, in this country, if you break us down demographically in the 5 major categories, it's not going to include everybody, but the #1 most successful ethnic group in this country are Asian Indians, economically. Second is Asian Pacific Rim, and then white, then Hispanic, and then black. So if there is white privilege, it's extraordinarily not used well. And then if you look at those 5 same categories with education levels, it matches perfectly. On average, the most educated Americans ethnically are Asian Indian, and they're the most successful economically. What a shock. And who's second? Asian Pacific Rim. What a shock. Third white, third Hispanic, fifth black. It's exactly overlays, which indicates a meritocracy. So what we've heard here today should concern all Americans, regardless of your political affiliation or what you believe in. Your hard-earned money is used to fund projects and global initiatives that were never meant to provide a return on your investment. The ESG is a sham, and it's being forced on people. We all know it, and we're seeing the damaging effects playing out right here before our very eyes. It is pretty much not really up for debate that the ESG funds underperform over time. And this committee is leading the charge here in Congress to pull back the curtain on what is happening behind the scenes that a massive financial institutions never wanted you to know about. And worse, what is the government, what does this government and this administration not want you to know? I don't want the politicization of the FBI and by extension justice. I don't want the politicization of our military. I don't want a Republican general and a Democrat general. And more specifically, I don't want our money being politicized and to point of fact, specifically your financial investing. And, you know, and that's the scariest part. We need to ask these questions. What if we continue down this path, letting leftist activists, asset managers, use their clients' funds to pursue a political agenda and decide what's in the best interests of the business without having any practical understanding of what it takes to run that business? And at best, you have less money in your pocket and a warm, fuzzy feeling about the brands you may choose to purchase. And again, if you want to invest in ESG funds, invest in them. But there needs to be proper disclosure.
Mr. Chairman, could I pose one question to you?
I yield for a question.
You're very kind to do it. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to clarify one thing. You said you sort of elucidated a racial hierarchy in terms of success, in America. And at the end, you said, what does that indicate? It indicates a meritocracy. And I would just give you the opportunity to amend that to say it would also indicate the legacy and the persistence of racism in America, slavery, Jim Crow, and the history that we're all aware of anti-black laws in the country.
Well, clearly we've had problems. I mean, our greatest original sin have been slavery. Obviously, that's not not for debate. I don't understand your question. No, I think it illustrates the point of when somebody says white supremacy or white privilege or what have you. I find this country to be incredibly inviting to all comers, and that's why we have to. The communists build walls to keep people in. We don't keep walls to keep people in. People are welcome to leave if they want. People from all over the world and every continent would love to come here because of the opportunity that is here now. I'm not talking about America in 1865 or 1965. I'm talking about America in 2023. And racism is, fortunately, a diminishing phenomenon. I know we'll always disagree on that, but this is my time. And to answer your question, people of color, Asian Indians, and there were less than 1% 40 years ago. And they're the most successful ethnic group, which is remarkable because if racism truly exists to the extent that a lot of people argue, they wouldn't be. They would be fourth, fifth, sixth, but yet they're first. Why? Education is so important. And I think that's far more just an emphasis. And the real root to this cause, and we can have discussions and more hearings on these things, is if you have to have whole families, fathers in the home. If I didn't have a father in my home, my father passed away a year ago, I would not be in Congress right now, for sure. Because when you're a 14 or 15-year-old, you're just not afraid of your mom, and it's hard to raise kids, as we all know, raising kids. And that's why it's easier when you have the two-parent home. And that's the symptom. We want to really treat these things. We need to talk about, it's not white people hating on black folks. It's not that at all. You have to focus on the opportunities that this country provides you. And not be, and again, it's about diversity of thought. I sat here the entire hearing, listening to things I disagreed with, patiently, quietly, respectfully, because I'm not going to learn from people that agree with me. I'm going to learn from people that may disagree with me. But as you just saw, somebody just wanted to walk out, but that's fine. After all, at the end of the day, I do believe in American exceptionalism. I do believe this country is the greatest one history has ever known, and I do believe that in 2023, we should take every opportunity to prosper and make sure that the best days of this country have yet to be counted. And we have that right here. So back to this topic and to close. You know, the American public has every right to understand what their investments are really going towards. And we're here to get to the answers.